Imagine it's a rainy afternoon in the 1970s. You're curled up by the window, transistor radio in hand. And suddenly, that sweet, uplifting melody fills the air. Laughter in the rain, walking hand in hand with the one I love. Just hearing those words takes you back, doesn't it? Back to first loves, high school dances, drive-ins. Simpler times when a song could say everything your heart felt, but your mouth couldn't. But today, friends, we gather not only to reminisce, we gather to say goodbye. Neil Sedaka, the voice behind so many timeless melodies, has passed away at the age of 86 following a sudden medical emergency. Born March 13, 1939 in Brooklyn, New York, Neil was a true child prodigy. Music wasn't just something he liked, it was who he was. He trained in classical piano at Juilliard, mastering technique and discipline. But his heart, it beat for something a little more rebellious: rock and roll. By the late 1950s, Neil was writing songs that would define a generation. And who could forget "Oh Carol," written for his high school sweetheart, the future legendary songwriter Carole King. In a playful twist, she answered him with her own tune, "Oh, Neil." Even then, you could see his charm, his humor, his heart. Then came the hits that shaped our youth. Calendar Girl, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16. Breaking Up is hard to do. That last one, how many teenage tears did it soundtrack? How many slow dances ended with that song playing softly in the background? Neil didn't just write music, he wrote moments. And his talent wasn't limited to his own voice. He penned Stupid Cupid for Connie Francis. He co-wrote Love Will Keep Us Together, later made famous by Captain and Tenile. His songwriting brilliance earned him Grammy nominations and industry respect that lasted decades. For those of us over 45, and especially those of you 65 and up, Neil Sedaka wasn't just another artist on the charts. He was part of the backdrop of your life. He was playing during your first kiss, your first heartbreak, your wedding reception, your late-night drives when the world felt wide open and full of possibility. His music carried the optimism of the post-war boom, the bright spirit of the early 60s, and later, the reflective mood of the 70s. Through every change in culture, fashion, and politics, his melodies reminded us that love, laughter, and resilience never go out of style. But his journey wasn't always smooth. When the British invasion swept through America in the mid-1960s, many early rock artists were pushed aside. Neil was one of them. The spotlight faded. The hits slowed down. For a while, it seemed like his moment had passed. But true talent doesn't disappear, it waits. In the 1970s, with the support of Elton John's Rocket Records, Neil staged one of the most inspiring comebacks in music history. Laughter in the Rain climbed the charts in 1975. Bad Blood became a #1 smash. A whole new generation discovered what the first one already knew. He had it, that gift. Over his career, Neil Sedaka sold more than 60 million records worldwide. He received 5 Grammy nominations and was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1983. Broadway even celebrated his catalog with the musical Breaking Up is Hard to Do. But beyond the awards and sales, he was something even more important. He was a family man. Married to Leba Strasberg since 1962, their love story lasted over 6 decades. Together, they raised children, welcomed grandchildren, and built a life away from the spotlight. In a statement, his family shared their heartbreak, calling him not only a rock and roll legend, but an incredible husband, father, and grandfather. And the tributes? They're pouring in. Carole King called him an inspiration and a dear friend. Fellow musicians have honored his craftsmanship and warmth. Even pop culture kept his name alive, from television references to modern artists covering his classics. That's when you know a legacy is real. It doesn't fade. So, let me ask you something. When you hear Neil Sedaka's name, what memory comes rushing back? Is it slow dancing to Solitaire? Singing along to Calendar Girl in the car? Or maybe that rainy afternoon when Laughter in the Rain felt like it was written just for you? His songs bridged generations. They taught us that even when breaking up feels impossible, music helps you heal. Even when the world changes faster than we're ready for, melody stays constant. Neil once said, "I think the songs will outlive me." And he was absolutely right. Because somewhere tonight, someone will put on one of his records. Someone will fall in love to his voice. Someone will remember a person they haven't thought about in years. That's immortality. Neil Sedaka's passing marks the end of a beautiful chapter in music history. But his songs, they remain. Every rainy day, every birthday, every slow dance. So tonight, dust off that old vinyl, stream that playlist. Share a story with your children or grandchildren about what those songs meant to you. Keep the music playing. Thank you for joining me on Xplained Daily, where we honor the legends who shaped our lives. If this tribute touched your heart, follow the channel and stay connected. And as Neil reminded us so beautifully, love will keep us together. See you next time.